Alex, just when you look at kind of things offensively at the plate, especially in the postseason, what's just kind of the mindset for you? And especially knowing that, considering, I know you're not in the lineup today, but just considering the slew of lefties you guys are going to be seeing, there's likely a lot more opportunity that we've already seen thus far.
Yeah, I think for me it's just about trying to do what I've always done, take good at bats and find a way to get on first base. You'd love to deliver in clutch moments and, hit home runs and everything. But for me, it's just about trusting the process to be who I am. And even though it's the postseason, not have anything change because what I do best is just trying to get on first base and play great defense and do everything else, do all the little things, and then just trust that the results are going to be there. So even though it's a shorter season in the postseason, you still have to kind of trust the process and the longevity of it and just trust your process.
I know when you came over at the trade deadline, you talked a lot about just kind of the whirlwind of changes, but also the excitement of being with this organization and the resources that you'll have. When did you find just like things kind of clicked for you, especially offensively in Dodger Blue?
Yeah, it was quite the transition just to kind of, whenever you're walking into a new locker room, an organization, a bunch of new people that you don't really know personally. So there's always that little transition, but they did a great job of just trying to make me feel comfortable and opening up their arms. And then I just tried to dive into all the resources that they had and things that they had available to me. I like to try and, make sure that I'm taking advantage of every opportunity there is. So I've tried to use every bit of technology and stuff that the Dodgers have. So for me, it was really just, maybe took a week or two to just feel comfortable, settle in. And then, again, it was guys just coming up to me and say, hey, we got you because, you do this and you do this and you do this, and that's all you have to do. And so that's how I looked at myself. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be who I am and play the game that I know how to play in the way that I play it, and that's going to help the team.
Next question. Good. We're going to go in the back there on the right.
Hey, Alex, as a guy who has platooned a lot, is there any advantage to facing lefty for somebody like you in your role?
Yeah, I think no matter what, I pride myself in just being ready for whatever comes my way. Certainly, the more bats you string together, theoretically, there's an advantage there. But just from the work I do with, watching pitchers on my headset and, when we're at home, facing guys on the machine and just trying to make sure that I'm getting my compete at bats on all the time, even if it's not in the game, finding a way to compete and kind of turn that side of my brain on so that I'm ready for the moment, so that it feels normal whenever I step in there, even if it's a couple days in between. But yeah, certainly getting a few looks in a row is always helpful, I think, in just the rhythm of things.
Okay, we're going to go far left, second row.
You started with a team at the beginning of the season that's currently going through a rebuild, and you're sitting here now in the NLDS with the Dodgers. What are the emotions like for you? Have you been able to sit down and process what you've been through this season?
Yeah, certainly. It really started right away when I got the call saying, hey, you're going to the Dodgers. And it's like, the Dodgers are the World Series favorites at this moment. So that's what I'm envisioning in my head starting right now, really, from the time I got the call. So, I just kind of thought about it, and I still text some of my, Nationals teammates and things like that. And, they're at home, and I'm lucky to be here and playing postseason baseball, something that every little kid dreams about doing. Playing in front of a crazy loud crowd, packed stadium in the playoffs. I mean, it's really what you dream about. So, yeah, just me and my wife, we just kind of reminisce on it at the end of the day and like, man, this is so awesome. This is so fun. And just to have a role on a team that's this good is also another just like really special moment. And just from all the things that I've been through throughout my career, grinding to, just make it to the major leagues and then establish myself as a major leaguer and then ultimately be a contributor on a World Series contender. Just praise the Lord for, how he's taking care of it.
Okay. Next question. We're going to Fabian on the left.
Yeah, Alex, I mean, obviously last year this team had a penchant for kind of doing stuff like they did in game one, sort of coming back after some early adversities. Anything like with your fresher set of eyes that you sort of saw in game one, just about your guys' ability to kind of rally back, especially with how loud this environment kind of got?
Yeah, I think just the quality at bats that the guys are taking and have taken throughout the course of the season. I think it's really just about, it just feels like a matter of time, you know. And I think with the quality of guys in the lineup and the quality of players that we have and the quality at bats that they take, it's going to be a lot for the opposing team just to continue to have to execute their pitches over and over again. And it's our job to just continue to make them work. And I think you grind it out each game, each pitch, each inning, each series. Guys are going to start to wear down. We're going to get more comfortable and just continue to make it tough on them. And no matter what the score is, it always feels like it's just a matter of time. It's kind of the mentality, I feel like.
You stay back there on the left.
Alex, after game one, quite a few guys talked about, the message from Aaron Bates before the game. And
Yeah.
I was wondering, why is that something that kind of seemed to resonate with you as a group?
Yeah, it was just kind of, it's almost like just an inside joke that it was, what he said was ringing true. It's like, hey, the crowd's going to be into it. They're gonna probably do something to score some runs. Just don't be shocked by it. You know, at the end of the day, we're gonna be right there in the game at the end of the game and have a chance to pull out a victory. So just almost like prepping us for like, hey, it's gonna get loud, it's gonna get crazy, but who cares? You know, we're gonna go out there, take our bats. We're gonna be right there, and we're gonna deliver when the time matters, and we did. So it was kind of like he put it out there before it happened. So yeah.
Anything else for Alex? We've got Kirsten here on the left.
Just quickly to follow up with that, I know you kind of were talking about like this team and knowing that the opportunity or the chance is going to come. Considering how successful you guys were in the regular season, just with comeback wins, does that just add to kind of that mindset and the confidence that whether it was Bates or just kind of you all feel?
Yeah, I think that goes a long way. Like when the other team scores, and I think if the first feeling that you feel is like, oh shoot, you know, that's not a good sign. Versus when the other team scores and even puts up a crooked number, and you're like, okay, you know, we have however many more innings, we have plenty of time left. I think that's just like physiologically, it's a different feeling that the team can have. And I've been on the side where it feels like, oh, here we go again, versus, hey, we're going to come back and probably win this game. So I think it just speaks to the group as a whole, quality of players as a whole, that's how everybody's feeling. And then as it starts to actually happen over and over again, then it just kind of continues to build the confidence.
Okay.
Dave, what was the thought process of Ben Rodford starting and having Will come off the bench tonight?
I think the thought was similar to game one. Given Will hasn't had, much of a work up coming back from the IL, so catching the 5 innings, whatever it was, to then build up tonight, to then feel like he's in a better spot. We got 3 at bats under our belt, which is also a positive. Came out of it feeling good, which is encouraging. And then if we continue to trend, then having him start game 3 if it still looks good.
Okay, next question. I'm going to go here in the first row.
Hi. So it comes out today, no surprise to you guys, that your 3rd straight year you led the major leagues in days on the injured list. I guess, what does it say about this team that you're able to survive all these injuries and get to this point? And now what's the feeling when, especially on your staff, so many of these guys are healthy and you feel like you're probably as loaded as you've been?
Yeah, we've had certainly our fair share of injuries. I think a couple things. I think it certainly speaks to the way the front office can kind of add depth and navigate the waiver wire. On the development side, we've had some young guys cut their teeth that probably weren't ready, but had to rise to opportunities. And then as far as like the guys that were around, the core group of guys that were healthy, just to remain steadfast and keep going. And early on, the starting pitching was very patchworky. And then later on, the pen and fortunately, the positional player group, for the most part, has been intact, which has been great. But, guys have stepped up. And for us to keep going says a lot, about the organization.
Okay, we're going to go to Bill in the middle.
Yeah, Dave, what makes Teoscar such a good RBI man, particularly in the postseason?
I think his ability to use the whole field. I think he just locks in a little bit more in run-scoring situations. That's probably the two biggest things. You're going to have to hit some velocity. You're going to have to stay away from spin. And to do that, you got to be able to use the whole field. A lot of RBI guys have to be able to do that or do that. And I just think, again, his focus is just more heightened, in those spots and then also in the postseason.
And why was that lacking for such a large chunk of the regular season then?
I think it's just there is some part of it where I think some of the injury part of it, he injured his groin, I think, in Kansas City, and coming back from that might not have been 100% coming back. And also, I think that's part of it, a lot of it, but also I just think that the focus is more heightened. It just is.
Over here on the right, second
We
row.
saw you deploy Glass now for multiple innings in Game 1. Could we see that out of Emmett Sheehan or Clayton Kershaw as well?
Yeah, I think so. Certainly Glass is off the table for tonight, but, Clayton or Emmett, certainly viable options, yes.
Hey, Doc, you've played in some hostile environments, New York, Boston, and you managed in some as well. What's your advice to Blake about pitching in an atmosphere like this, in a game like this?
He's pitched in a lot of big spots and environments, hostile environments, and so for me, I got no advice for him. I think he's really focused on just doing his job, and like most greats, when they get to performing or competing, all that noise drowns out. It really does.
Okay, we're going to go right here in the front.
You guys have faced Luzardo a couple times in the regular season, and he's had deeper outings. What's made him effective against your lineup? And do you expect that he might have the chance to go deep in the game, or maybe the Phillies go with a quicker hook?
Yeah, he's good. He's good. It's velocity. There's changeup, really good changeup that he's been successful with us. He pitches, backwards at times with JT behind the plate. There's a sweeper, slider that he tries to get for Chase, but three-pitch guy. I'm sure Rob has a lot of trust in him. We're expecting him to go long, and our lineup kind of reflects that. But I expect us to take good at-bats. Really good pitcher, but I feel like we got a good game plan tonight. And, I think we got to make sure we do a good job of trying to keep him in the strike zone. If we do that, it should be a good night.
Okay, Jack, row 2.
Following up on Will real quick, was there any residual effect coming out of the game the other night with how his hand was feeling, or did he feel how you guys wanted him to?
He felt how we had hoped. There was a little bit of soreness, but just overall, good soreness with his entire body.
The lineup, we asked you a lot down the stretch about flipping a switch and when that would happen. Was there ever a point where you were worried that wasn't going to happen, or did you kind of look at the makeup and the veteran nature of your lineup and kind of trust that they could get to the place they needed to be once you got to this part of the year?
I was certainly counting on the veteran players that they would stay the course, because the offense has been good for quite some time now. My only concern was letting some of the pitching woes affect them. And that wasn't the case with those guys. And so that's telling of their character, which I really appreciate. But as far as how the at-bats we've taken, that's been, a solid 5 weeks, I think, that we've had some really quality team at-bats.
Okay, I'm going to go far in the back out there, Bob.
And Dave, with your starters, pitching the bullpen too, could you see using Ohtani at some point, like even a game 4, or even a guy like Snell, maybe a later round, out of the bullpen?
That's hard to project. I think anything is on the table depending on series circumstance. But right now, I don't think that's not on our radar. But yeah, I think I'm sure that there's some unforeseeable things that sort of always arise. So I'm not gonna take anything off the table.
Can you go to the second row here on the left?
Dave, when we talk about there being heightened focus during the playoffs, it's usually in the context of the players, but is the same kind of true for you as the manager, some of the in-game decisions you're making?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it starts with me. Just decision making, making sure I'm in tune with the players, how they are emotionally. I think for me, that's a lot of managing in the postseason. Just really having an understanding where their heartbeat is at, how you expect them to respond to certain situations, being prepared for certain situations, and then making decisions, with that information. But it has to be. It is.
I'm going to go back here to Bill on the right.
Yeah, Dave, Max Muncy out of the lineup again today. How much of that is left on left? Is there any lingering effects with the physical things he had going on?
Physical things, he's in a good spot now, which is great. I think right now, for these first 2 games in particular, having guys that have a lot of success against left, I really like the silver bullet to deploy at any given point in the game, which we did in game 1 versus Robertson. I also feel that Miggy Rowe has been taking really good at-bats, has had a great season. I love him versus left. And Kike is October Kike. So I think that right now, just kind of the net sum, it just gives us the best chance to win tonight. I felt the same way, in game 1. And, we'll see how tonight goes. But I have conversations with Max every day, and he's completely on board.
Play the what-if game with Ohtani. If this thing goes the distance, is he your game 5 starter?
If it goes the distance, he would be, yes.
Okay, we're going to take 2 more. We're going to take Dave.
Dave, 2 questions for you. Is Yamamoto ready to go for game 3? And as far as tonight goes, the dynamic between Snell and that lineup, he's had success. What's he got to fight against? Does he have to pitch to strengths? How does that work in a game like this?
I think, he's had success. Those guys have had success against us, as far as Luzardo. I think it's just more of the strengths part of it, but it's also kind of not being, and I mentioned this the other day, it's just not being predictable because with the postseason, there's just a lot more scouting. So, your errors are more highlighted. So I do think that kind of mixing and matching speeds, locations is really important. And the thing that's good about Blake is he has 4 different pitches. So he has a lot of weapons to get the right-hand hitters out, the left-hand hitters out. So, I like where Blake's at. I like where he's throwing the baseball. And, I feel good about our club tonight. Yamamoto start game 3, yes.
Okay, we're going to finish up here with Fabian on the left.
Yeah, Dave, like you said, you guys were swinging the bats better going into this October. But is there anything like just game planning wise or approach wise, or have you figured out something offensively for you guys this postseason, last postseason that conduces to better offense, more consistent offense than maybe the 2 postseasons preceding it?
I think that there's a little bit of, coming and playing for something, a postseason berth, a division, playing till the end of important games. I think that's kept our focus offensively. Not having 5 days off, playing real baseball games has kept our focus. And then the last part, probably the most important part, is that the guys are just bearing down and have bear down with their bats, winning pitches, taking walks, hitting to all fields. Those are things that, play in the postseason. And we've done that for quite some time. So I think it's just sort of bleeding into, right now.
Okay.
Yoshinobu, whether it was game one or game two today, just kind of with Blake Snell on the mound, how do you approach just kind of taking in information to prepare you for a game three start?
ゲーム、1戦目と今日の2戦目、そこの情報っていうかゲームを見てどういうふうに、3試合目に生かしたいと思ってますか？
この2試合から得られる情報もあると思いますし、はいまた違う、自分ならではの作戦というか、なんて言うんだろう、自分のピッチングに合った作戦もあると思うので、どちらも、しっかり分析しながら準備していきたいなと思ってます。
I think there are some like information stuff I can learn from these two games, and then also because my own in terms of my preparation, I'd like to utilize those information, and also, excuse me, and then my own game plan.
Okay. Next question, English. Nothing else? Okay. Wait, Kirsten, can you go again?
We've talked a lot about just Roki and the growth and development that he's had. How impressed have you been, just what you've seen from Roki Sasaki coming out of the bullpen right now?
佐々木投手のここまで見ててどういうふうに思いますか？
慣れない、位置だと思いますけど、すごく、なんていうんだろう、いい仕事をしていると思いますし、本人もすごくいい顔してプレーしているので、はい、すごく良かったなと思います。
I think because it's a little bit difficult because of the difference from what he usually does. So, but I think so far he's been doing great, and then I can see his expression is pretty bright.
Okay, we're gonna go to the right, Bill.
Yeah, what did you learn from last year's postseason experience, and how would you explain the difference between a regular season and a postseason game?
昨年のポストシーズンの経験を得て、今年レギュラーシーズンとこのポストシーズンの一番違いっていうところは何を感じてますか？
去年のポストシーズンからは、とにかくたくさんのことを学びましたし、それがこうマウンドでの落ち着きだったり、自分のプレーを、発揮できるっていうなんていうんだろう、そういった準備、につながっていると思いますし、シーズンももちろん一試合一試合全力で挑んでますけど、またポストシーズンになったら、より落とせない試合が続くので、準備の部分だったり、マウンド上がって、いろんなことが起こると思いますけど、その時にしっかり冷静でいられるように、心の、準備だったり、体ももちろんですけど、そういったところを大切にしたいなと思ってます。
I think I learned a lot from last postseason game. Then that experience has been helping me a lot, especially when I go out there and then how to handle the pressure and then how to stay composed. And then, because I think those experience from last year has been helping me a lot this year. And then I'd like to get myself ready for anything that comes my way.
We're going to go back to the left to Jeff.
Yoshinobu, there have already been more split-fingered fastballs thrown this postseason than in any of the last 20 postseasons. What is it about the pitch, as someone who has thrown it his whole career, that you think makes it so increased in popularity and so effective?
過去20年のポストシーズンでのそのスプリットの使われる率っていうのが多くなってるんですけども、そこに関して、山本さんはどう思われますか？
難しいですけど、どうでしょうね。分かんないですけど、スプリットは、いろんなバッターにすごく有効なボールだと思うので、なかなかこう他のボールだと、例えばカットボールとかそういうのはなんていうんだろうな、すごい打つのがうまい、だから使えないっていうバッターがよくいるんですけど、スプリットとかはどんなバッターにも、どんな状況にも、すごい投げやすいボールだと思うので、はい、そういったのが、この20年の結果につながっているのかなと思います。はい。
I think splitty is more useful and then versatile to a lot of different types of hitters. And then I think it's compared to cutters, and then those are more like major league hitters. Somehow more like used to it, how to handle it. So from that perspective, I think a splitter is very useful to because overall across the league.
Okay, we're going to take one more here in English to the left. Fabian?
Yeah, was there a moment, whether it be last season or coming into this season, where your confidence level changed in your ability to attack major league hitters and you really felt comfortable with how you sort of go about attacking guys?
ここまでI'm sorry, can you repeat that first part?
Yeah, was there a moment, whether it be last year or coming into this year, where you really started to feel comfortable with who you are as a major league pitcher and your ability to attack these hitters?
そのメジャーのバッターに対しての対戦するときに自信のレベルっていうのはやっぱ去年とかと比べてやっぱ大きいですか？
そんな大きくは、変わってないんですけど、こうすればいいんだじゃないですけど、やることがこう明確に、分かってきたっていうのはすごく大きいなと思いますし、そういったところが、分かってきて、より自分の投球ができるようになったかなと思います。
Now, the reason, because my level of confidence is up and much higher this year, is I think I know how to attack them more like with a clear mindset.
Yeah. Okay. Any questions in Japanese? We're going to go straight to the back to Asushi, Yuki.
お疲れ様です。先ほど心の準備という、お話ありましたけど、こうやっぱどうしても緊張とか出てくる場面もあると思うんですが、その試合への入り方とか、試合前のクラブハウスの過ごし方とか、心の準備するにあたって意識されていることってありますか？
基本的には、シーズンの登板と、やることは変わらないですけど、なんていうんだろうな。日頃から落ち着いて生活することで、試合にそういったところが出るかなとは、いつも思いながら、生活はしてます。
Okay, we're going to go in the back there to Masa. Over here, Ma. Yep.
9月以降、実は自責点というのは2しかなくて、でこの間少しお伺いしたとき、別に状態8月と例えば比べても変化はないですよというのは、体調面のことかなと思ったんですが、例えば投げてるボール、イメージした軌道にきっちり入ってるとか、そういうところで変化というか、良くなった部分、自分の中で納得できるというものがありましたら、9月以降の、この今の結果に関して。
投球自体はそこまで大きく変わったなという感じは、あまりないかなと、思ってます。配球の面だったり、戦略の部分をより力入れて、するようにして、よりピッチングの幅が広がったと思いますし、それがいい投球につながっているかなと、思います。
Straight back.
お疲れ様です。次の対戦、今も対戦しているフィリーズの印象と対策じゃないですけど、山本投手自身のポイントとなるところはどういうふうに今考えているかっていうのを教えてください。
もちろんすごくいいチームですし、ファンの方もすごく熱く、本当に素晴らしいチームだなと思ってます。作戦というか、そうい試合に入るに、なんていうんだろうな、とにかくいつも通り、パフォーマンス出せるように落ち着いて、試合に入れたらなと思ってます。
Anything else? Down here in the front, Dylan.
お疲れ様です。園田さんの通訳が、去年と比べるとすごく上手くなっていると思うんですけど彼のそうやって一生懸命頑張っている姿を見て、山本投手には何か影響はありましたか？
やっぱり陰での努力といいますか、そういったのは、僕が感じるほど、すごくされてるなと、 思いますし、はい、本当にこうなんていうんだろうな、園田さんが45の時ですかね、6去年そのまあ野球業界にこうなんていうんだろうな、まあすごい大きな決断だったと思いますし、やっぱりその覚悟がこう日頃の努力からすごく感じられるなと、はい、思ってますし、はい、本当にこうなんていうんだろう、純粋さだったり素直さだったりそういったのがすごくある方なので、はい、すごく素敵だなと思ってます。
Take one more back there in the middle.
よろしくお願いします。ワイルドカードシリーズと第一戦で、ドジャースのピッチャー陣スネル投手も大谷投手も山本選手もそうなんですけど、好投されてこう先発陣がこうみんないい感じになってるっていうのはご自身にどういうメンタル的な影響ありますか？
みんなやっぱりすごくいい投球を、しているので、自分も負けないようにといいますか、置いてかれないように必死に、やりたいなと思いますし、それがチームにすごくいい影響が出ていると思うので、僕自身しっかり自分のことに集中してやっていきたいと思います。
Okay, we should take this last one right here.
今日先発するスネル投手がいつも山本投手のことをお話ししてくれるんですけれども、サイ・ヤングを取ってる投手から例えば配球だったり攻撃の仕方だったりルーティンだったりで学んだことってありますか？
とにかくたくさんのことをすごい教えてくれますし、試合の後、一緒に動画を見て振り返ってくれたり、日頃からこう小さなコミュニケーションからなんていうんだろう、たくさん、してくれるので、本当にこう、心強い存在といいますか、そういった存在でもありますし、はい、本当にとにかくたくさん学んでます。はい、
もう少し具体的に教えてもらえますか？
技術的なところもそうですし、さっき言ったようにその試合後、一緒に振り返ってくれて、はい、その内容のことだったり、はい、その感じですね。
山本さん、Thank you.